Okay, so I guess we are live now. Hello, friends. Very good evening. Let me know, guys, if you can hear me. Today we have some new feature, new innovation, which is very crazy, and I'm sure you guys will love that. Can you guys can someone confirm that if you can hear me, guys? Thanks, Raghu. Thanks for the confirmation and thanks for joining, Raghunandan. Great. So, guys, are you guys using Selector Sub already? Test Case Studio? Thank you, guys. Thank you, Peter. Thanks, Sport. What's the best feature you guys have seen or using in Selector? So, which one is the your most favorite one? The Pro version is buttery smooth. Thank you, Raghunandan. Yeah, definitely. If you guys haven't tried yet Pro version, then you must check out. That has really incredible things. Very good innovation, and that is also like almost free only. So yes, everybody can try that. Okay, so like now we have pretty much everyone. We'll wait for a couple of minutes and then I will show you what I'm going to show you guys today. Yes, so Raghunandan's favorite feature is copying the XPath without opening the app, just with right click, the best feature. Yes, definitely. And in fact, like in Pro version, it has been taken to the next level that you can even before copying the value, you can see what is the value of the XPath and selectors there. Peter favorite feature is XPath generation even on drop downs. Yes, that's like one of like really crazy feature because that is something like many a times what happens that we stuck, that's like kind of deadlock situation for us. Whenever there is a drop down, if you try to inspect that element, you won't be able to find the you won't be able to inspect that element because it disappear from the DOM, because that generally appear when you hover on something on the drop down header. That's where it appear. So as soon as your hover gone, that element disappear from the drop down. So getting the selector copying the value for drop down elements, that's really great feature. And I'm not sure how many of you have tried the code generation page object model like locator page you can generate, smart maintenance feature where you can like verify your whole script like all the XPath. Because what happens in general, whenever there is a like UI change happen, all of our locators used to change. So in that situation, what happens, most of our automation script used to goes in like backlog, or nobody is going to maintain them. What? Because whenever there are like all XPath changes or some of the XPath in between got changes, that's where we feel okay, this is not going to be like, we are not going to like verify one by one XPath. So a smart maintenance feature in Selectors Hub, you can just put whole script, copy paste, and it will verify all the XPaths. So that's where it will help a lot. Now today, let's talk about something new which will really help you guys a lot. And I'm sure like this is a big time problem actually in XPath. Like so many innovations and other stuff we already did, but still this is like one of the really challenging thing which I'm going to discuss with you guys. Like today, how do you identify if an XPath is dynamic or static? Because you see that most of the time what happen, whenever there is an XPath, you like suppose selector sub has generated some XPath and selectors. So it is really painful and difficult to identify whether that XPath is dynamic or static. If you will use that XPath, will that work or not? I have found like almost like everybody has always this question: if I will use this XPath, will it work in my automation script? Will it work in my script? If I will run, if I will refresh the page, this is going to change. So, anyone out there in the call, can you guys let me know how do you identify if an X path which is generated or which you have written, if that is stable or not? How do you guys identify that today? And in fact, let me start sharing my screen and show you guys some example what I'm talking about. So suppose we are on google.com here and we open selector sub, let's say, or let's say let me open selector sub pro here. So I inspect this element, let's say Google search here. Now I'm sure you can see this value here. Now you see that this X path here, the class value, that looks pretty much dynamic. Now tell me, will you use this X path in your automation script, or will you suggest to use this X path in the automation? By looking at the value, will you be able to are you going to use this? Anyone? Because the kind of value it is looking, look at that value like fpdo lcij9. So this is whenever we see the alphanumeric value, we always try to avoid that to use in automation script. And as a human being, for us it looks like a numeric dynamic value. Like if we will refresh the page, this value is going to change. Agree? And how do we verify this? Like today, if we have to verify this, like whether this XPath is static, whether this attribute value is static or not, we have to refresh the page, we have to copy this value, save it somewhere, then match that value. So that's where we waste a lot of time. And it is like everybody's problem. This problem is like everybody's problem, this verifying the whether the XPath is dynamic or not. So here now we have solved this problem, and the innovation has been already added in Selector's Pro version, that you would be able to identify whether the XPath is dynamic or static just in single click right there in Selector's Pro. So you just have to click one button. Here you see that it is already showing you the alert icon, like class looks dynamic. Use attribute filter to generate relative XPath without class, or click to check the stability of XPath. So here one feature you have already, that you can uncheck this and it will generate without class, but that is too long. Let's say we want to check the stability of this, like whatever XPath is generated there, we want to check the stability of that. So how can we check the stability, whether this is static or dynamic? You just simply click on this. Let me just turn off this attribute. You just click on this button and it will let you know whether the XPath is stable or not, whether that you can use it in your automation script or not. Just hit it and let's see the magic. You see that it is telling you that this is a stable XPath, and you can use this in automation script. But trust me, just looking at that value, we are never going to use this XPath in our automation script, and we will end up writing very long XPath. So this is where this is going to help a lot. This feature is going to help you guys a lot. This is one example where you can immediately verify selector, whether that is the XPath what you have written or what the tool has generated, whether that is stable or not. Now let's see more example here. If you inspect, let me inspect this, I'm feeling lucky, let me delete this value, this one. Again, here you see that this is a like dynamic value. So can we say that this is static or not? Let's see whether this is static or not, whether we can use it or not. So yes, this is stable and we can use it in our automation script. So this X path, whenever you have to like identify whether the X path is stable or not, you can use this feature. Now you would be easily able to identify. Now let me take a pause here and see your thoughts on this. And there are like a lot more thing. I will show you guys more in this, like a lot more there in this feature, and this is going to really help you guys a lot. Rajesh is asking which extension you use to get that dialog box in input in inspect element box. That is Selector sub. So that's the Selector sub pro. So what's your thought, guys? Like about this feature, like were you able also in a situation where you were like struggling that XPath is dynamic, and whenever you were using that in automation script, that was like uh, I mean, you copy the XPath from Selector sub, or you have written some XPath and then you use in your automation script, that's where they were failing. So this feature is going to help a lot, that you can directly verify XPath whenever there is an alert icon. Like Selector sub will let you know that this XPath looks like dynamic. So whenever that is there, you can just simply verify right there. Just click on that button there to identify, to check whether the XPath is dynamic or static. Okay, now let me show you more on this. So we have seen this thing. Okay, let me take a more complex example where like uh, an application which is on React or e-commerce kind of website, because that Google one is always looks like very simple one. So this is an e-commerce website which is, I guess, developed in React. Now you see that here div class is equal to this. Now looking at this value, can you guys tell me, looking at this value, you see that class is equal to this. Can you say that we can use this XPath, this means this class value in our XPath? Like if I open Selector sub here, so you see that this XPath is generated /div at the rate class is equal to this. Would you guys recommend to use this XPath in automation script, in script? I'm sure nobody will recommend and use this XPath, because the kind of class value, it is very much dynamic. So, and we will end up using like different methods of writing XPath. We will go parent child, or maybe like all the way till body, or we will use some index. So can how can we identify, like how can we check that this class values are also static or not? So here we have this feature. Just click on this and it will let you know that this is static or not. So you see that it is letting us know that this is stable. And in fact, if you expand it here, you will see that the same class value is still there. So even though the class looks like very much dynamic, or the attribute value looking very much dynamic, but still you can verify that. Right. So this way you can now easily identify whether the class value or any particular attribute value is static or not, the XPath which is generated by the tool, whether that is stable or not, whether that you can use in automation script or not. Now, what will be that situation where if this value will change, how Selector sub is going to help you? Like suppose, let me show this example as well. Hit on this button and it will let you know that this is stable. Okay, now let's see in which situation it is not going like in which, what are those situations where XPath generally get changed. So in that situation, how you will handle it. So here, let's say on LinkedIn, we inspect any element. So generally, like in these kind of like social media platforms and the website where there's most of the data is dynamic. So there we used to see a lot of dynamic element. Like you see that these three dots. So right now, this the very first post is like this is here. Rosal Bhatti has celebrated this post. So these three dots are related to this person. And if there are chances that if we refresh the page, then a direct post comes on the top, not the reaction dots doesn't come. Maybe there are chances that a direct post three dots comes on top next time when we will refresh the page. So definitely this is these are like kind of like dynamic elements here on social media page. So suppose if we inspect this element, let me open this and let me use this selector sub inspector this time. Click on this. So now you see that here it tells us that this is dynamic one. Okay, but there are chances that sometimes we directly copy this XPath and use in our script, and that's where we found that oh, our script is failing. So in that case, before using itself, whenever you see this alert icon, you just click on this and verify whether the XPath which was generated and you were going to use that XPath in your automation script, it will tell you right here that unstable XPath, inspect that element again, and it is finding zero element matching. So this way, it will help you whether the XPath is dynamic or static. You see that now there are three different dots here. It gone like earlier it was Rosal Bhatti and now this time it is different. And if you want to inspect this, you can inspect this. And now this time this one, let's verify this whether this is stable or not. So you will find that this is a dynamic element and it will be changing each and every time. So this is going to help a lot. Like whenever there is a situation, if you feel that element is dynamic, you can directly verify in Selector Sub Pro by inspecting that element and just click on this button. So this is going to help uh, and solve a big time problem where we were not able to identify whether the XPath is dynamic. And trust me, we always face this problem that I have faced this problem from my users that I'm not able to identify whether my XPath is dynamic or static. I have whatever XPath was generated, I used in my script and I found that script is not working, but here in tool it is showing one element matching. I have found many problems like this, that tool is giving one element matching. I have written the XPath which is showing one element matching, but when I use this in our automation script, it is finding zero element matching. So how can I solve this problem? So this is where this is going to solve each and every automation developer tester to get the right XPath, check the stability of XPath and your selector. So there is a question. So let me know your thoughts, guys, about this feature. You can we ask developer to create a test tag ID for? Yes, that's the like best solution. If you can ask your developer and get the this QA ID or data ID for each and every element, but let's be practical. Like be practical, and in real time, is it possible to get all the tag ID like QA ID and data ID for each and every element? No, that's not in reality, it is not possible. Yes, conceptually we always says that that's the best practice if you can get the QA ID and data ID for each and every element. But trust me, nobody is able to get that, and nobody is able to like do that in reality. There are like very few situations where people are doing this, but very rarely. Pro version is paid one. Pro version is yes, paid one. This is just, but that is almost free, just $1, not even a tea or coffee cost per month. So that is almost free only. But if you want to use free version, so that free version is always available for everyone, so you can use the free version. Pro version is almost free, $1. So what can I say, like what could be less than $1? So that is just nothing, because we have these pro versions now, so that like whatever free tools are there in under selectors of umbrella, we can keep running them, keep improving, keep providing the support, so all like free trainings and everything. So for that reason we have to have this. But yes, sooner like pro version will always be like one version ahead from the free version. So once pro version goes to the next level, then these features will come in the free version. Any questions, guys? Any feedback? Okay, now let me show you something. You must have like this is recently added something new in Slack Chrome version 103. If you might have noticed this, that you see that Chrome Selector sub tab is opening here now. So generally you must have seen always selector sub used to come as last tab, but now with the Chrome version 103 onwards, you would be able to see selector sub like you you can drag and drop, and you can change the position of tab here. So like you see that you can change the position of tab, so you can move wherever you want. So this is like really great. Now you can move the tab left and right, and you would be able to change the position of selector sub tabs. So this is again like very helpful. Like every time you will not have to like uh, right click on inspect, then clicking these double arrow, then selecting the tab from there. No, directly you can keep it at the first position. So whenever you open DevTools, you can immediately open this. You need not to go there or expand it. Okay, so Rajesh has this question: how it's identify whether it's static or dynamic. So like this is very simple way that it used to like take the XPath which it was generated before, and I mean that's whatever you do manually, it has automated that process. So manually, how do you identify whether the XPath is dynamic or not? So we verify like this way: we write an XPath, we refresh the page, then either we paste this XPath there in the like selector sub and verify that, or we write XPath again for that element and match both the XPath whether they are same or not, is still working or not. So here in selector sub, it has automated that process. Like it will save the value, refresh the page, and get that match everything in the background it does. So yes, so of course there is like lots of code and everything logic has been written to verify whether that is static or not, and it check whether that attribute value is static or dynamic if it is changing. Yes, and apart from this, like there are like many features in Pro which will save a huge amount of time for you guys, and it will help you to improve your productivity. So do try that. It's a like also free trial is available for 1 week. After that, it is just $1. So not just imagine like just 500-600 rupees per year for like India, it is just 60 rupees per 50-60 rupees per month, 50 rupees per month. So it is almost like free only, nothing like 1 year 600 rupees is just nothing. So this is a kind of like support. Yeah, so do try that. You take a free trial, and after that I would not recommend that you take it from your pocket. Ask your company to take the subscription. So for company it is just nothing, and they can like whole team can get benefited out of it. And if you guys have any question, any query, always there is a live chat support on Selectors of website, so that you can always check. And I mean there you can always ask your query. Here's the link for selectorsub.com website and direct selectorsub pro page I will share. So how you can get started with this, and lots of tutorial I have created on the channel. So I will request you all that please check out those video tutorial. And if you are a fan of, or if you are if you love automation, new innovation, new things, new ideas, then definitely you are going to love this selectorsub pro and test case studio pro, which is like a kind of recorder plugin which used to generate the steps, record screenshots, record videos. So that is also another great feature in Test Case Studio Pro. So if you haven't tried that, do try that recorder plugin. That helps a lot in documentation, getting steps for the bugs, reproducing the bugs, and really helpful tool. In fact, like many times, me and lots of users have found Test Case Studio Pro more useful than the Selector sub, because that gives you steps, XPath, Selector, automation script, and everything for you. And then recently we have also launched Test Case Hub. So guys, if you haven't tried Test Case Hub, do check that out. That is really, really incredible innovation. Like, let me show you quickly. So if you haven't tried this Test Case Hub, do try this. It is a kind of like encyclopedia of test cases and test scenarios. So if you have to ever write test cases, test scenario, you just go here. And if you need test case, test scenario, search here. Let's say we need test cases for login. You just search here and you will get all the test cases listed here. You will get to know like who has written that test cases, what are the upvotes, downvotes, and who is the reviewer, each and everything. You can download the test cases. If any test case you found missing, you can submit here. Like, let's say you want for checkbox, so you will see that who has written this test case, Sachin Sharma, who has reviewed them. You can see that. You can see all checkbox. I mean, lot many features are there. So this is a kind of like community tool. This is free tool, and this is running by community, operated by community, everything. So this is really, really great tool, which will help you guys a lot when you will watch this and learn more about it. It's very simple. Just whenever you need test cases, come here, search, and you will get those test cases, and you can complete your testing quickly, and you will not miss any scenario. So that's where this test case hub will help you. Is the pro version purchase license per or can use by multiple session in company? So the pro version, of course, like there is a if you go to website, you can take the subscription plan here. So let's say this pro. So if you're like individual, you are taking, you can buy it here. If you are for company, you are taking, you can buy it here. So when you will be taking it for let's say for company, so if you have a member of team, like say 10-member team or 15 or 20, whatever, so that you can select it here, and accordingly you will get that. Like that many number of people can log in. If you are like taking individual plan, so then in that case, like you only will be able to log in, and in your system, of course, like multiple sessions. So I mean, it's basically, if you are taking individual, only you will be able to use. If you want like let's say 10-member team or 15-member team, then accordingly you can choose the plan from here. And I have created tutorials, so you can watch that, like how you can get started, how you can take the plan, which plan is suitable for you, and all the features and everything you can compare here. And that's where, and if any help required, I'm always here. So yeah, I can help you. I hope I answered your question. Any other questions, guys? Okay, so if all no questions, so that's all pretty much from my side. Do let others know about this great innovation, Selector Sub Pro, Test Case Studio, Test Case Hub. This will really help a lot people. And guys, this is just absolutely free. It's not like just $1 is nothing. This required, really required now support for to run other innovation, other tools, free tools, and develop more such tools for the community. So that's where it is required. So we have this now, but free version is always free, and that will always be there. You will keep getting the updates, you will keep getting the supports and everything. So don't worry about that, that everything is going to be pro. No, free version is always there, that will keep getting the updates and everything. But yes, if you need more features and more, you want to improve your productivity, and you want to save more time, then we have the pro version now. Thank you, Rahul. Thanks for joining. I'm so glad to hear that you loved it. uh, Thank you. It is only available in Chrome, right? So right now it is available in Chrome and all the Chromium browsers. Like if you want to use it in Microsoft Edge browser, you can use it in any Chromium browser you want. So yes, you can use it in any Chromium browser, not just for Chrome. And soon we will add support for Firefox and other browsers as well. So other browsers like Firefox and Safari, because rest all are on Chromium only, so it will be working. But yes, we will add support for them as well. The region currently it is not available. This one pro version is not available on Firefox and uh, Safari, because they don't support uh, they don't support manifest version 3, the latest technology which Chrome supports. So once that support is added in their browser, in those browsers, then we will immediately add pro version in uh, Firefox and Safari as well, and Opera as well. So Opera right now is not supporting Manifest version 3, which is supported by Chrome. Like Chrome has the latest technology, so that's the reason it will not support currently in Opera browser. But still, you can try it. If it works, you can use it. Region I'm saying because right now in Opera they support Manifest 3, and the pro version and the Selector sub right now, which is there in Chrome, they are on the latest technology, because Chrome has added lots of security and security thing, that extensions should be most secure considering the user security and other stuff. Lots of great things has been added in Manifest version 3. So Selector sub, which is available on Chrome browser, they are on the latest technology and latest Manifest version, so which is like very helpful, which makes process faster. It never slows down your system or Chrome browser. So lots of good things are there in version 3. But yes, in near future, whenever, like as soon as these supports comes, we will add them. Sumit, I used Selector Hub once, but it was giving me the XPath which have ID with some numbers that were changing. So at that time, Selector Hub not helped me any comments. Yes, Sumit. So you see that even that time also, it was telling you that ID is dynamic or class is dynamic. You have not noticed actually attribute filter feature was always there. So seems like you never read more about it, or you haven't checked out the tutorial. So let me show you how that feature is already there always. So this was the free version which you used. So let me just inspect this element here. So you see that you have used this XPath, like it was generating with ID, but you see that there was always an alert icon. If you would have hovered on that, you would have always got that class or ID value looks dynamic. Uncheck the class checkbox. So if you would have unchecked this, it would have generated the stable XPath. So I will highly request that with each and every one, that before like using it, there are like so many features. Everything has been taken care, but you have to check the tutorial, that what is the region that this is failing and this is not working. But now today, for this, for the same region, we have this in pro version, that you have this feature. Like you just click on this button and it will also tell you that whether this XPath is stable or not. So for the same situation where your ID was changing and it was not working, you just click on this button and you will get to know that that XPath is unstable. So you are not going to use that. In that case, you can just uncheck that ID checkbox and it will not generate with ID. It has given by default ID the very first preference region, because ID is the like most unique attribute in the page. So by default, it will give the preference to ID, but you will be knowing that whether that ID is dynamic or not for your application. If still you don't know, then you click on this button and it will let you know. So I hope like now you got it, like what was the region, and you meant uncheck the ID part, right? Yes, 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 that one. Or you just click on that, like if you're using the pro version, you just click on that button. So this is uh, actually, like this is the problem which we have solved today with this new feature, and this is exactly what I have showed you guys today. This in pro version, because Actually, Sumit, thanks for this one. This was the actual problem, like which everybody was facing, and this is the one which I wanted to hear, so that now everyone can see that this is the actual problem which we have solved with the today's solution. That people were not able to get to know that what is the region that XPath is failing when they are using it. So exactly, this was the exact problem. Thanks so much, Sumit. You asked this, and now everybody can get it. Like, what was the actual problem? So this is the actual problem, that it was generating with ID or class attribute which are having some numbers that were changing. So, like, it was not much help, but now this will help. So I hope like this feature will help all of you. Okay, so great, guys. That's pretty much from my end. If you have any question, any feedback, do let me know. And if you haven't tried Selector Sub Pro version, please try it. Take a free trial. There will be no charge. Take a free 7 days free trial, and whenever you want to cancel the subscription, you can write there cancel from your Selector Sub tab. So it will you will cancel that. Uh, yes. So I will request you, like when you are getting this message, please watch the tutorial. There must be some tutorial with this. The element which you have inspected, that is inside, must be that might be inside cross origin iframe, or that might be inside close shadow dom. So actually there are like lots of scenarios. These are one very rare scenarios where you got this error. So I will request you that please check out the tutorial. Just go to this Selectors of YouTube channel where you are right now watching me. There I have search for cross origin iframe and close shadow dom. You will learn more about that. And also make sure, guys, you are not using uh, Selector sub tab or Selector sub tool or any browser extension in blank tab. In They will not work on blank tab. They will not work on Chrome Store. If you are using in Chrome Store, many times it happened that we start using them in Chrome, like blank tab or in Chrome Store. So please open a new website, and that's where you try. Selector sub Mina is asking. Thank you, Nan. Great to see you here. Does Selector sub automatically update to the current version, or do I need to update from my end? So by default, it will automatically, Chrome updates automatically all the extensions. But if you like, if it has not get updated immediately, or if you want to get update immediately, then in that case there is a button, like you can update it manually as well. But by default, in within 1 or 2 days, whenever you will restart the browser, the extension will automatically get updated. And if you want to update it manually, I have already showed and created one tutorial, so you can watch that tutorial available in here. So actually, for each and every question, for each and every query, I have created tutorial already, so that like none of our user face any challenge, any problem. You just have to like once come in the YouTube channel and search for that here, and you will get the solution. And if you didn't get, I'm always here. Hi, I see Selector sub don't work in incognito anywhere around. No, it works in incognito as well. So you will have to understand that how to use Chrome plugin in incognito modes. So for that also I have created a tutorial. Let me show you here. So whenever you want to use any plugin in incognito mode, so what you have to do, you just have to right click here and click on this manage extension. And you see that very first thing, if you have to update manually, you click on this update. If you want to use in incognito, scroll down here, you allow in incognito. So you will have to allow here, and then you would be able to see this in incognito mode. So I hope now you got it. Like here, if you open, so you will see that Selector sub here in incognito mode. So whenever you want to use in incognito mode, you have to provide that extra setting. You will have to allow it here. And in fact, if you want to use it for local files, you will have to allow it. So that works everywhere, just that you will have to explore it. So I will request that please watch the detailed tutorial more tutorials, whatever questions you get, just hit it there, you will get the solution. Don't use it on blank tab. Like many times what happen, we open new tab and we think that this is a google.com, but that is not google.com, that is like blank tab. So make sure that there is a web application opened. Yes, any more questions, guys? Any feedback, any question? Are you managing everything alone or one man army? Yes, it's a kind of like one man army, but yes, we will start growing soon now. So yes, because like lot many tools, so it will not be possible. But yes, of course, this is a kind of like one man army, but with a huge community support. So you all are supporting, and whole community is supporting all the features, and everything is like everybody supports. So this is like kind of all the tools, like you see test case hub. So we have the reviewer, we have the people who are helping us to write the test cases. So this is like everybody, all the tools are running with everybody's support. You will see the people's name on the like selector sub website, that whichever features or anything, it is like kind of everybody's support. So it's a these all are the community tools supported by community with a huge support. Do you recommend to you us to use Cypress recorder to copy the element found and then convert it to relative XPath, or index XPath later in Selector sub? So actually, like you can compare both the XPath which is generated by Cypress Recorder and Selector's Hub. So there is like huge difference. You will find the one which is generated by Selector's Hub always like much more stable. It support like Selector's Hub supports shadow DOM, iframe, every kind of element. So I have also created a tutorial that how you can use make a best use of Selector's Hub with Cypress. So because selector subs gives you the relative css selector, which will be very helpful like in Cypress. So that you can use in your Cypress script. And then relative XPath and index based XPath, always those are available in selector sub, so that you can use it. But if you see that you always get like, let me show you. So you see that here it generates this relative CSS selector here for this element. While if let me copy the relative CSS, let me copy the CSS selector from DevTools, and almost similar kind of CSS selector you will get it there. The one which you see that such a long CSS selector here, while the selector sub generates such a short and stable CSS selector. So this will be very helpful always. And I have created a tutorial for this, that how you can make a best use of this. Like let's say this has been generated, okay, sorry, and now you want to use this in with Cypress. So you see that today what you will do, you will copy this, you will go to your editor, and this that's where you will paste it, right? But still you will have to add that cy.get, and then you can paste this command here. Isn't it time taking? Can we get this complete command from selector sub? Yes. So you see that there is a code button here. Click on this. One second. Let me just one second refresh this page. So if you inspect this element here, and here you see, you click on this button here, code, and this command is generating with complete code. Here you can select this cy.get and hit enter. You see that we got this complete command. Now you click here and copy and paste it in your editor. So this way you can get this complete command. If you want the XPath one, you click here and you got this cy.xpath. So you basically get this complete command. And let me now, if you have asked it, let me show you a lot more things here. You see that there you can generate this complete locator page. So you select this, keep it on, select this inspector, keep on inspecting the elements for which you want to generate like selectors or anything you want. You just inspect through, like you would be able to inspect all the elements right there from here. So that way you can generate the like complete locator page as well. Like, let me show you one example, better one. So let's say we are on Selector's of website here, and we want to generate locator page for all these elements. So you come here, you select this, you inspect this element here, and you just start inspecting for whichever element you want to generate the locator page. And you see in Selector sub tab, everything is getting generated. You simply click copy button, go back to your editor, and your script, the complete script will be ready. Isn't it so quick? If you want css selector one, you click here and paste it here. So this is like really amazing that you can save a lot of time very quickly. You can create the script and everything. So I hope that was helpful. Pramod, is whatever video you made on Selector Sub, is it available in the form of notes? If yes, please provide URL. Yes, those are like kind of available in the notes kind of thing where I have explained everything. So all these things are available on Selector Sub website. So just check that page. Let me share the URL here. So you can just, for with each and every feature I have added, like added and video and everything. So please check that out. And like in Selector Sub, this YouTube channel as well, you can just go to the playlist of the Selector Sub and you will get that video, like whichever video you will be looking for. Any other questions, guys? Okay, so that's pretty much for today. And thank you so much for joining. And really appreciate. Do try, take free trial and try this pro version of Test Case Studio, Selector Sub, and do check out the Test Case Sub. You will really love these tools. They will save a lot of time for you guys when you will be like working on a day-to-day basis. Like they will really help you a lot if you're doing testing, writing automation script, exploratory testing, functional testing, filing bugs, management, everything. They will help you, and they're like so simple, so easy to use. Okay, and whenever you face a problem, just search in Selectors of YouTube channel. You will get a tutorial for each and every feature, so you will not face any problem. Okay, yeah. So thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for joining, and keep learning, keep sharing. And if any feedback, feel free to add in the comment section. I will keep checking and keep improving the product. Thank you. Thank you once again, guys. Bye bye. Good night. Have a great weekend ahead. Thank you, Nayan. Thank you.